Welcome everybody to Miami Battalion YouTube channel. With me today, I have the pleasure of speaking with Christine Moore, who is an educator at Palm Glades Preparatory Academy. How are you doing today?
I am spectacular. How are you, Nico?
I can't complain. It's great to see you again.
Good to see you as well.
Absolutely. So for those watching, myself and Christine, we met at the Educators Tour in Fort Jackson. We got to go to Army boot camp and experience everything from family day, graduation, and just the whole process that these soldiers go through before becoming soldiers officially. So how have you been since then? How's the school year going right now for you?
It's it's been exciting. Coming off of that trip, it just generated so many ideas, and it's expanded into other areas of how I want to guide our students to the next steps in their lives. So it's been a busy uh, first semester so far, but it's exciting.
So this is the Educators Tour. This is a big group of teachers that Mr. Rivera, our education specialist, got together from the Virgin Islands, obviously Miami, St. Thomas, Puerto Rico, and it was just a big crew that came down. I'm curious, how did you first hear about this trip, and what made you want to join?
Well, we have an amazing recruiter, Sergeant Hope Hendricks. This is my second year at Palm Glades. So last year, when she contacted me to introduce herself, I'm all about exposure and experiences. So she was very open to coming to the school and talking to her students, educating me, educating our administration as well as the faculty. And she's just been extremely involved here at Palm Glades. So she asked my principal and I would be interested in attending. And I don't think she got to finish the sentence. And we said, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how we heard about it.
Okay, so I'm curious. So I don't know if you remember Blake, the Miami Dolphins player who came with us.
Yes.
We got to speak a little bit, and I'm curious if you had any maybe preconceived notions or some hesitations prior to saying yes.
Yes, I believe we all had some preconceived notions, but I certainly since the trip those have gone away because I have a very different view and outlook on what the Army has to offer our young people.
So there was quite a bit of different events that we got to see. Obviously, like I said, we went to the family day, which here in the image you can kind of see the soldiers behind the sign. And there's a little video eventually that I will put up where it was smoke grenades were just being thrown out of the forest, and these loud explosions were all around, and you didn't really know what was going on. So, can you tell me some of the things that maybe stood out to you from this trip?
Well, first of all, you referenced the family day. I was sitting next to Mr. Rivera, and I kept asking, "Where are the soldiers? What are we looking at?" And so he pointed across the field, and he asked me, "Do you see any movement?" And it took me a minute, and that's when I realized that they were amongst the trees. But that ceremony was extremely touching and extremely dramatic, and the symbolism of it all. I am from Jamaica, so the other very significant event for me was being able to witness those 20 some cadets being sworn in as U.S. citizens. That for me was monumental. And for them, just a couple hours later, graduating. And it was that was a life-changing week for me.
Myself, I'm a Colombian immigrant, so it was also amazing to see that the whole ceremony and just the emotions that not just these kids had, but the families, the amount of pride and
Yeah.
just like the hope that of seeing their beloved ones after so much time away from each other. That was great to see.
Yes, absolutely.
We went through so many different programs, and me as a former Marine, I was also very surprised at all the different things that the Army has to offer, because in the Marine Corps we don't have the funding or the amount of programs that the Army offers their soldiers. um, I'm curious if you think that after seeing all these programs and what they offer, how much do the students benefit from something like these programs?
It's overwhelming. Actually, uh, last week, Monday, we had a couple parents events, and I had our recruiter as well as her commander. They were able to present to our parents because of the population that we serve here at Palm Glades. We will have a tremendous amount of first generation students who will be graduating from high school, much less going to college. And pardon me, we're still at school. Let me turn my radio off. Um, we are a lot of our students will be the first to, again, graduate from high school. The possibility of college, uh, joining the Army is the reserves will be an opportunity to pay for college and to break a generational cycle. And we were able to present that to about half of our senior class this past week. And since school started, I have started having discussions with my seniors in our one-on-ones, and I am pleased to say that I'm expecting a really good handful of my seniors to make the decision to join the reserves because of what is offered, and dispelling the thought that when you mention military or the Army, that it's all about active duty, that you can be a professional and give your time and yourself to the Army. So it was a mind shift for me, and and to be able to share that with the students have been great. So not only have I been able to bring the Army in to speak to our parents, but I've had a couple small group sessions with students who have come, said, I want to give that some thought, but I have questions. So to be able to have Sergeant Hendricks a phone call away to say, can you come and talk to the students, has been absolutely wonderful.
And these students, as a senior, I remember I wasn't necessarily under a lot of pressure, but I did put that pressure on myself, and I felt lost as to what path to take: military, school, or just go right into the workforce. Unfortunately, I didn't have the guidance or those role models that could help me out, or maybe I didn't have such as yourself that was as invested into the life of myself as a student. So what kind of advice would you give a student who's watching this and is at that crossroad of which way should I go?
Uh, I have students that come to me that have not thought about what they wanted to do. So I ask the question, what do you enjoy doing? What do you do in your free time? And there are some that are into gaming. Well, have you thought about IT? Mm-hmm. And take the conversation from there. I strongly believe if you can get paid to do something that you enjoy, it doesn't feel like a job. So if there's a young person out there who has no idea what they want to do, they're not sure if college is the right thing for them, or the military, or even trade school, what is it that makes you excited? What keeps you up late at night and sleepy in your first period class? And then ask the question, can I get paid to do this? That's the first step I would take, or the first big start a discussion.
Is there anything else that the Miami Battalion could be doing for your school?
Uh, right now, uh, it's very early, and part of the discussion my principal and I had while we were at Fort Jackson, how can we help the military achieve those goals and also make it a win-win for us. And we are a very open school, and I'm blessed to have an administration who uh, it's an open door. Anything that's going to benefit our students, we are all for it. So we have actually come up with a plan, and I actually sat down with Sergeant Hendricks and her commanders, and we came up with a plan for the school year. So we have classroom presentations already on our master calendar, parent presentations. We're having our annual college military fair on Wednesday, and of course they will be front and center. So it's partnering with a school and integrating themselves into the fabric of the school and showing that so that the students get to see military professionals as people as well, see themselves that it is diverse. There are all different colors and creeds and races that make up the Army. And so if they can see themselves and in those professionals, and that the administration and their teachers and CAP advisors like myself are open to bringing those experiences to them, that is the key. And it's, what I would, and what we did say to the leaders at the educators tour was find those administrators who are open and start there. And once word gets out that they're making a difference in those schools, then and the administrators talk to each other, because as many schools as there are, it's still a very small community. But if they're talking to each other, then those that have those programs in place, they make the introductions to the other schools, and it'll just build that way.
I want to shift gears here a little bit. Earlier we were talking about, students finding careers that they have a passion and love. You strike me as someone that loves what you do. So I'm very curious as to your journey, kind of what motivated you to go into this field.
This was by accident.
Wow,
This
okay.
this is my third career, and I fell into this. As far as education, I lived in Miami many, many moons ago, left, moved to the Midwest, and I came back in 2017. I was really visiting as I came for a funeral and ended up staying because I was job hunting. And I got into Miami-Dade County, started as a treasurer at an elementary school, then year later moved and was promoted to a community liaison specialist at a middle school down in Homestead. And last year, I was recruited by Palm Glorious to be their CAP advisor. And a new role, new school. It's exciting. We are a middle and a high school, so it was my first entrance into high school. And I absolutely love it. As a CAP advisor, I am the second set of eyes to the teachers. So your teacher, they have an area of specialty, whether it's science, English, or what have you. As a CAP advisor, I'm able to look across the board and see how the student is performing as a whole. And are they meeting all the required benchmarks for graduation? That is my role. So last year, as my first year here, learning, first of all, what those benchmarks are, and then holding the students accountable by having, I do have one on ones with all my seniors. And so I tend to be dogged, as I've been told, but I want to see every student that sits in my orange chair, uh, to see them walk across the stage. So I am very dogged and very visible. I'm a very visible CAP advisor, and I do go into the classroom and I do partner with the teachers so that if they have any issues, they can use me as a sounding board or as another invested in adult. Also, I'm a good contact for parents, especially when they get to the junior and senior level. I get much more parent contact because we're coming to the big day, which is graduation. And so we want to make sure early on that nothing has fallen through the cracks, because we don't want it last minute to say, oops, sorry, this was missed. So we work very, very hard to put monitoring procedures in place, so that if we need to shift anywhere, we can. So that is my role, is to stay abreast, looking down and making sure that all the thresholds have been met.
So if you remember on the trip, we went to the Victory Tower, which is this giant 60-foot four wall
Yes.
that people come down, they rappel down with the cables. I'm curious, who in your school, to include yourself, how do you think, who would you want to go up there with you, and how would you guys do?
Well, I did go up there. Who would I want to go up with me from my school?
Jumping down, yep.
Wow. There are quite a few people. I think, oh, here we go. Our high school psychology teacher, who, in fact, will be leaving us in November to attend officer school. So she will be, yes, and she will come back in a year to resume her position. So she would be my first pick, because I know she would be all in.
Okay. And how do you think you yourself would do?
Well, I would need a little practice, but I did go up there.
You did.
I did go up.
So, okay. All right, Ms. Moore, we appreciate this time. And we appreciate this time. Thank you very much for talking to us. And thank you for coming on the tour as well.
Thank you so much. It's great to see you again.
You as well. Bye.
Bye.